Have you ever wondered who the father of chemistry is? While many might point to figures from the European Renaissance, the true story begins much earlier, in the heart of the Islamic Golden Age. Today, we journey back in time to uncover the life and legacy of a man whose genius laid the very foundations of modern chemistry, Jabir Ibn Hayyan. Born around the year 721 in Tus, Persia, which is in modern-day Iran, Jabir's early life is shrouded in some mystery. His father, a pharmacist, was involved in the political turmoil of the time, and after his father's execution, Jabir was sent to live with relatives in Yemen. It was there, under the tutelage of the scholar Harbi al-Himyari, that his insatiable curiosity for the natural world was ignited. He studied everything he could, from alchemy and medicine to philosophy and astronomy. This diverse education would become the bedrock of his future discoveries. As a young man, Jabir moved to Kufa, a bustling intellectual hub in what is now Iraq. He became a physician and later, through his profound knowledge, gained the patronage of the powerful Barmakid family in the court of the Abbasid Caliph, Harun al-Rashid, in Baghdad. This was the golden age of science and learning in the Islamic world, and Baghdad was its glittering epicenter. With access to vast libraries and resources, Jabir was in the perfect environment to conduct his revolutionary work. Now, let's be clear. The word alchemy today often conjures images of wizards trying to turn lead into gold. But for Jabir, alchemy was a serious empirical science. He was one of the very first to insist on experimentation as the path to knowledge. He famously wrote, "The first essential in chemistry is that you should perform practical work and conduct experiments. For he who performs not practical work nor makes experiments will never attain the least degree of mastery." This was a groundbreaking shift away from the mystical, theory-only approach that had dominated for centuries. He was, in essence, championing the scientific method long before it was formally defined in Europe. So what did he actually do in his laboratory? Jabir's lab must have been a fascinating and probably very smelly place. He is credited with inventing and developing many of the fundamental chemical processes and apparatus we still use today. Distillation? Jabir perfected it, creating the alembic still, a device that became a cornerstone of chemistry labs for centuries. Crystallization, calcination, sublimation, evaporation, these are all processes Jabir systematically described and utilized. He wasn't just mixing things randomly. He was pioneering the techniques to separate, purify, and combine substances with precision. His quest to understand the nature of matter led him to classify substances in a way no one had before. He categorized them into spirits like camphor and arsenic, which vaporize when heated, metals like gold, silver, and iron, and stones, minerals that could be crushed into powder. This systematic classification was a monumental step forward, moving chemistry from a collection of recipes to an organized, structured science. And the materials he worked with? The list is astounding. Jabir is credited with the synthesis of many crucial acids for the first time. He discovered how to create nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, and sulfuric acid. He even combined nitric and hydrochloric acids to create aqua regia, or royal water, a powerful mixture famous for its ability to dissolve gold, something that had baffled alchemists for ages. Think about it. These acids are the workhorses of the modern chemical industry, and their discovery can be traced back to Jabir's lab over 1,000 years ago. But Jabir's work wasn't just about creating new substances. He was driven by a deep theoretical framework. He developed the mercury-sulfur theory of metals. He believed that all metals were formed from two principal elements: mercury, representing the metallic properties, and sulfur, representing the property of flammability. He theorized that the different metals we see, like gold and lead, were simply different ratios of this mercury and sulfur, given to them by nature. The quest to turn lead into gold, therefore, was about rebalancing these internal constituents. While this theory was later proven incorrect, it was a powerful and rational attempt to explain the composition of matter, and it dominated chemical thought for centuries. The sheer volume of work attributed to Jabir is staggering: over 3,000 treatises and articles covering everything from cosmic secrets and medicine to grammar and engineering. This massive collection of writings is known as the Jabirian corpus. For centuries, scholars have debated how one man could have produced so much. Some suggest that Jabir was not a single person, but a school of anonymous alchemists writing under his prestigious name. Whether it was one genius or a collective of brilliant minds, the impact is undeniable. The Jabirian corpus became the definitive chemical encyclopedia for over 1,000 years. When these works were translated into Latin in the Middle Ages, they caused a sensation in Europe. European scholars, hungry for knowledge after the Dark Ages, eagerly devoured his texts. His name, Latinized as Geber, became synonymous with chemistry. His emphasis on experimentation and his detailed descriptions of lab procedures directly inspired generations of European alchemists and, later, the first modern chemists like Robert Boyle and Antoine Lavoisier. In a very real sense, the European scientific revolution stands on the shoulders of this Islamic giant. So, why isn't Jabir Ibn Hayyan a household name like Newton or Einstein? History is often written by the victors, and for centuries, the narrative of scientific progress was heavily focused on Europe. The immense contributions of scholars from the Islamic world were often overlooked or minimized. But today, as we piece together a more complete and accurate history of science, figures like Jabir are finally getting the recognition they deserve. He was more than just an alchemist. He was a pioneer of the experimental method, a master of practical chemistry, and a profound thinker who sought to uncover the fundamental laws of the universe. He transformed alchemy from a mystical art into a discipline, empirical science, laying the groundwork for the chemical revolution that would follow centuries later. From the acids in our industries to the distillation processes in our labs, the legacy of Jabir Ibn Hayyan is all around us. He truly is the father of chemistry. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden history of science. Let me know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to learn about next. Until next time, stay curious,